Right now, somewhere in the universe, there's a planet so impossibly large that it's tearing itself apart just by existing. Quick question before we dive in. Drop a comment right now. Are you watching this on your phone or computer? I'm genuinely curious where you are when you discover this story. This planet, it shouldn't be possible. It breaks every rule we have about how worlds can form, how they can survive. Scientists saw it through their telescopes and thought their instruments were broken, because what they were seeing was a planet larger than anything we've ever found. So massive that if you could somehow stand on one side, the other side would curve away beyond multiple Earths stacked side by side. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. This giant is dying. Every single second, it's bleeding billions of tons of itself into space. It's being cooked alive by forces so extreme that its entire atmosphere glows like a furnace. And the closer we look, the more impossible it becomes. Why is it there? How did it get so catastrophically large? And what does it tell us about the darkest, most violent corners of our universe? I'm going to show you this cosmic monster step by step, but I'm saving the most mind-breaking detail for the very end. Because when you hear what this planet actually is and what it's doing right now at this very moment, it will completely change how you think about the universe. Let's start from what we know. Let's start from home. Earth, our home. About 12,700 kilometers across, mountains that pierce clouds, oceans deeper than most of us will ever see, 7 billion human beings living their entire lives on this one fragile ball. Now imagine Jupiter, the monster of our neighborhood. You could drop Earth into Jupiter and lose it completely. In fact, you could fit 1,300 Earths inside Jupiter and still have room to spare. It's not even a solid world, just endless storms, crushing pressure, and clouds of gas swirling at speeds that would shred anything we could ever build. The Great Red Spot alone, that storm is bigger than our entire planet. It's been raging for at least 400 years, maybe longer. We don't even know. Jupiter is our benchmark for massive. It's 11 times wider than Earth. It has 79 moons. Its gravity is so strong it acts like a cosmic vacuum cleaner, pulling in asteroids and comets that might otherwise slam into us. For most of human history, we thought Jupiter was as big as planets could get. Then we started finding worlds beyond our solar system, exoplanets, thousands of them, and we realized Jupiter was just the beginning. We found planets twice Jupiter's size, 3 times, some orbiting so close to their stars they complete an entire year in less than a day. We call them hot Jupiters. They're blasted with radiation so intense their atmospheres evaporate in real time, creating massive tails like comets. But even among these extremes, there was one that made scientists stop and stare. Its name is ROXS 42BB. And when I tell you how large it actually is, you're going to think I'm lying. ROX 42BB sits roughly 500 light-years away from us in the constellation Ophiuchus. When it was discovered in 2013, astronomers had to double-check their data, triple-check it, because the numbers didn't make sense. This planet, or whatever it is, has a radius approximately 2.5 times larger than Jupiter. Let that sink in. Jupiter already dwarfs Earth. This thing dwarfs Jupiter the same way Jupiter dwarfs us. You could line up more than 27 Earths across its diameter. If it were in our solar system, its size would stretch past the orbit of Mercury. But size isn't even the strangest part. ROX 42BB is young, cosmically young, only about 3 million years old. For comparison, Earth is 4.5 billion years old. This planet is basically an infant in space-time. And because it's so young, it's still glowing from its own formation. Its surface temperature reaches about 1800 Kelvin. That's over 1500 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to vaporize lead. Hot enough that it radiates its own infrared light, glowing like a dying ember in the darkness. But it's not orbiting close to a star. It's not a hot Jupiter being cooked by radiation. It's just out there, floating, burning, enormous. Here's where physics starts to break down.
Despite being 2.5 times Jupiter's size, ROX 42BB has a mass only about 9 times Jupiter's mass. Wait, how is that possible? If you scale up a planet's size, its mass should scale up way more. Volume increases faster than radius. A planet 2.5 times wider should be massively heavier. But this one isn't. It's weirdly light for its size. That means its density is incredibly low. It's puffy, bloated, like someone inflated it beyond what should be physically possible. Scientists calculate its density is less than that of cork, less than water. This titanic, glowing world, massive beyond comprehension, would theoretically float if you could find an ocean big enough. And here's the detail that haunts me. ROX 42BB doesn't orbit close to its star. It orbits about 157 astronomical units away. That's more than 5 times farther than Pluto is from our sun. At that distance, its star is just a bright dot in the sky. So how did it get so massive? How did it form so far out? Why is it still glowing? Because here's what scientists think is actually happening, and this is where everything you thought you knew about planets falls apart. ROX 42BB isn't really a planet. It's a failed star. What we're looking at is something called a sub-brown dwarf, or planetary mass object. It formed the way stars form, from a collapsing cloud of gas and dust, but it didn't gather enough mass to ignite nuclear fusion in its core. It tried to become a star. It failed. And now it's stuck in this cosmic limbo, too massive to be a planet, too light to be a star. That's why it's so huge. That's why it's glowing. That's why it defies our understanding. It's not following planetary rules. It never was a planet to begin with. It's a star that never got to live. Think about that for a second. A world larger than anything in our solar system, glowing alone in the darkness, orbiting a star it will never become. Still hot from its own birth, slowly cooling over millions of years, fading into obscurity. It's beautiful, and it's heartbreaking. ROX 42BB forces us to ask, where does the line between planet and star actually exist? What defines a world? When does a planet stop being a planet and become something else entirely? We've discovered thousands of exoplanets, but ROX 42BB is a reminder that the universe doesn't care about our categories. It doesn't care about our definitions. Out there in the infinite dark, there are objects that exist in the spaces between what we thought was possible. Right now, as you're watching this, ROX 42BB is still out there, glowing, drifting, a giant that never got to burn. And it makes you wonder, what else is out there that we haven't found yet? What other cosmic mysteries are waiting in the spaces between the stars? If this story got you thinking, drop a like, share it with someone who loves space as much as you do, and subscribe, because the universe is full of stories like this, and we're just getting started. Thanks for watching, and remember, the largest things aren't always what they seem.